Okay, so I actually left the campsite in such a rush that I forgot to film my morning, but it doesn't really matter. There wasn't much there. What is interesting is as you're driving into the park, there's this sign for where they filmed National Treasure 2. Conveniently, it's located just outside the actual park. That's interesting. And the park itself, it has the largest entrance station that I've seen at a national park. And there's no entrance fee, but it does cost $10 at the park, so close enough. The weather that morning was super foggy, but at least my phone was optimistic. At least the crowd isn't that big right in the morning of the September-October changeover. Go early in the morning. It was a good idea, that one in the middle, the national parks. Worked out pretty well. The monument itself is 1,300 acres, which is about one national mall. Wait, that's not a very good comparison. It's like one Daytona International Speedway. They're about the same size. Branching out from the main viewing platform is the Presidential Trail Loop, which brings you right underneath the monument. The first stop on the trail is the Lakota, Nahota, and Dakota Heritage Village, which gives you your first views right under the monument. Right behind it is a hidden rock that lets you stare straight up at George Washington. While the trail is mostly flat, there are quite a few stairs. At the end of the trail is the sculptor's studio, where you can see the model that was used to design the monument, and rangers give talks in there throughout the day. Looping back around to the main viewing platform, the weather began to clear up. So I did the obvious choice and went inside the museum, where every 20 minutes there's a documentary showing, detailing how the monument was built.
Ideally suited to the times and to the carving of mountains. American art ought to be monumental, he said, in keeping with American life, and Rushmore ought to be colossal in keeping with it.
Next door to the theater is a museum where you can see all the tools that were shown in the documentary. After a typical American lunch, I walked around the monument a bit more in the nicer weather. You definitely want to get here before noon. It gets really busy. Also, sun's come out, so a lot more people are just standing around the viewing area. It is a nice view, though. You definitely only need like 3 hours to see this park. It's not that big. Also, I walked back out on the Presidential Trail. Now it's clear out, get some better pictures. It's not that long of a trail. And like any good American, you have to exit through the gift shop. Okay, so I remembered years and years ago, I saw this picture on Reddit, And it was inside the gift shop, they had these 3 shirts up with the Mount Rushmore logo on them. Underneath of them, they had this display of how they turn old plastic bottles into fibers to make shirts. And I thought this was kind of cool. And I remembered in the pictures, the shirts were super clean. They had like a gray and a green, but they had a good design on them. And I spent a long time walking around the store looking for these shirts. Turns out they don't have them anymore. They still have the concept of recycled bottles into the fibers, but I just didn't like any of the designs on them. So I got a sticker. And after paying for parking, I might have found one of the greatest motorcycle roads in all of the Midwest. After a really great drive, I went back to my campsite where I got to read my book and take a nap, and I made raviolis for dinner. And that night, I knew I wanted to try night photography. I liked it in Dinosaur, and I really wanted to try it again because I had this cool campsite right on a lake. There's a little too much light pollution for it to be great, but I think I did a pretty good job.